I want my sexy new item.
Yeah. Two of you were indecisive, so I ended up picking things out of the DMG.
Okay.
One of you had a pretty precise idea of what you wanted. The other one, I gave an option of something practical or something crazy.
I chose crazy. Because why
Sorry,
wouldn't
are
I?
you saying there are people who are more indecisive than me, Bobbin?
Yes.
I was one of them.
Wow.
Like, I couldn't think of what I wanted.
Yeah,
Ralph?
same.
Paralysis of choice, man.
It's not just that, it's like I don't know what I would want or like where to go. Because I just kind of have been going with the flow with this character.
I will say, none of these items are attunement items.
All I
Okay.
request is a jar of infinite mayo.
No. No. No.
Okay.
That's
baby
a
oil.
cursed item.
That's an alchemic jar.
Yeah. Exactly, Pot.
Anyway,
No, I mentioned it to some friends, and one of them just said, "Get a jar of infinite mayo," and I'm like, "No."
Like I said, that's a cursed item.
That was perfectly fine. Moving on.
so where we last left off, the group had decided to travel to the mysterious city of Buntalus, far to the north of the rest of the elven domains on the continent of Camlius, but apparently still a part of it on some level. You went in under the disguise of being that Harvey is a gray elf, and the rest of you are green elves with an arcane interest, whom he has brought to the north in order to satiate that interest, fulfill the curiosity.
So I am in fact a mute.
One of you cannot speak Elven, even with a southern accent, so to speak. And so you just stay quiet most of the time.
I only know 2 languages, and I will never learn more than that.
Does Lake know the most languages out of anybody in the party?
You've been the most interested in picking them up.
How many does Lake know?
Like 5?
Yeah, Aurelia knows 5.
Wait, hold on. Let me see. 3. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, Aurelia
We
also
know
knows
3,
5.
but I
Okay.
don't consider Thieves' Cant a language.
Fair.
It's not really a language.
More of a creative use of existing languages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you went to Buntalus and found out that they were in isolated community that was interested in pursuing arcane research for its own sake, whereas in the rest of the elven domains, it's mostly in the hands of the elven elite, the nobility and upper nobility.
Right.
However, they did not object to other social practices of the elves, namely slave holding. And so it was probably a good idea that you put on disguises for this particular venture.
Probably. Oh, I did think of something that I wanted to ask the person before. I don't know if you're just going to say it's too late, but when we were discussing the screening devices they have that check people's potential, and they sort of said, "Oh yeah, there's some people who purchased a bunch of them and they're trying to fill that order, so they can't give us one or anything." I realized that we didn't ask, or if we did, I forgot, what was traded for them, since they don't generally accept currency.
Oh. Actually, Harvey was going to ask after those if nobody else did when you were picking your magic items.
Oh, fair enough.
I assume like materials.
Well,
And
I'm
so-
just curious because it could give us information.
True.
Sea
And so, yeah.
slugs, giant sea slugs that they turn into
Shut
potions.
the fuck up. Leave. All you ever think about is that game and you don't even like it. Moving on.
This is a direct reference, though. We're in a city that's a direct reference to it.
We're in a cave.
It's,
We're in a fucking cave. It's not underwater.
There's
Idiot.
water right here in the
Yeah,
picture.
so there's water near me too. What's your fucking point? I live right by the ocean. Am I a Bioshock too?
Yes.
all right. So, putting that aside, like I said, Harvey does ask them about getting some of those booths from the person who's got the open order for them, since that's what he's most interested in. And I'd be, well, if you could tell me who bought them, if you don't have any to spare, then perhaps I can get one from her. And so you are told that Hanera has a rather unique sort of strawberry blonde hair. And based on how many people came with her and how much wealth she was willing to throw around, she was plainly a queen of somewhere, or an archduchess, someone who is the upper crust of the upper crust.
Political favors.
Oh, like Aurelia.
Creme de la creme.
I'd argue a step above Aurelia.
Yeah, probably.
Well, that doesn't exist, so that's not possible.
You keep telling yourself that.
I'm talking in a legal sense.
At this point, you can just sort of pipe in and ask, so what do they pay you with anyway?
Yes, I
This
will ask that.
This way is plans. Oh, well, that's partly how we knew how wealthy they were. She had just about anything we could ask for as at her disposal. Arcane reagents, precious materials, spare slaves.
Huh.
Pretty much anything we ask for, she'll furnish us, so long as it's a fair deal.
I appreciate Bobbin losing track of his voices.
Yeah. And well, Bobbin's range has been pretty impressive, so I'll cut
It
off
has
the
been.
slack.
Yeah.
But like Harvey sounded off, and also these
Well, I think Harvey's doing a different voice for.
pompous
sake of-
Harvey.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just that Harvey is losing track of his accent. How deep does it go? All right, well, that's a good answer to that question.
Right. And as for the magic items that the players get,
Oh God.
the item sort of chosen for you, Lily, kind of reflects the fact that you are seen as being adolescent, younger than the rest.
Oh
So they-
God.
They give you some pots of paint. Specifically, Nolzur's Marvelous Pigments. 2 pots,
Okay.
which can be used to cover up to 2,000 square feet of surface. And whatever you create using the brush that is furnished with these pots will become real.
Huh.
If you draw a door in a wall, that door will appear in the wall
Lily
and lead to
instantly
the other
just starts
side.
painting a dinosaur.
Well, he doesn't know what a dinosaur is. That's stupid.
However, there are limitations. You can't create anything truly valuable, and if you draw something truly valuable, it will appear to be a fake version of that thing.
Okay.
So, like brass fittings instead of gold, quartz gems instead of diamonds, that sort of thing. On the other hand, and it also doesn't create anything living.
Damn it! There goes the dinosaur idea.
If you create it, yeah, if you draw a dinosaur, you will create a wooden model of a dinosaur.
See, I was about to ask because it says terrain features like flowers and trees, and I'm not sure if you're 100% on board with that.
No, basic plants is fine, but
Okay.
like anything that could get up or be threatening at all is off the list.
And
And
that'd be real awkward to paint a tree for Lake to look at and talk to.
it'd be kind of weird to be a created
It would
tree.
be, it would be an existential problem.
On the bright side, whatever you create is always going to be there afterward.
Hell yeah.
And Gurnesh gets the Iron Bands of Bilaro.
I will write that down for him.
It's a handheld ball that is just a series of iron bands, iron circles, just sort of wound up on top of each other like a rubber band ball. And if you throw it at somebody as an attack, then it will spring apart and cover them and bind them to give them the restrained condition. It is possible to break the iron bands with a DC 20 strength check, and anyone can do it, including the person being restrained. And if they succeed, then it breaks. If they don't succeed, then they are stuck like that for the next day.
Nice.
Or until you just say the command word as a bonus action and it releases the band.
Ah, the safe word.
Coconut! Coconut!
Niner.
So, Aurelia gets the Cape of the Leaping Lords, which does two things. Number one, your jumping speed is doubled. Just straight up doubled. And
Jumping distance? Or is it-
yeah, distance.
Okay.
We should change that. And if a creature hits you with an opportunity attack, you may roll Dexterity Acrobatics. If your result is higher than the creature's attack roll, not meet, but higher than, then the creature will miss instead.
Nice.
So every time you attempt to avoid an opportunity attack, you get essentially 2 chances instead of 1.
Yep. My acrobatics is high enough for that actually to be pretty useful, because I've got a good chance at rolling higher than my AC.
Just to make it nice and clear. And then Lake, who wanted something unusual, gets the Rod of Inertia.
God, yes. This already sounds stupid.
It does already sound stupid, but I love it already because of that.
Alright. During an action in which during a turn in which you begin to fly, you may activate the Rod of Inertia as a bonus action. Starting with that round and ending as soon as you land, your flight speed doubles. However, you must move in a straight line every round while the rod is active.
Okay.
And you must move your full distance every round while the rod is active. If you happen to collide with something, then you will take 1d6 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet of movement you have remaining.
Jesus Christ.
1d6.
So, quick question. What was the name of my thing again?
Nolzur's marvelous pigments.
That was it. Marvelous pigments. Okay. I just need to write that down.
Well, now they're Lily's marvelous pigments.
Damn right. Fuck that Nolzer loser. He ain't shit.
Alright. I have copy and pasted your version of my magic item because that's way better than what I had written down. It'll probably confuse me later. Also, I forgot that I still have a wand of secrets.
What?
A wand of secrets. I can use one charge to automatically detect secret doors within 30 feet.
Hasn't really come up much.
No, it hasn't. I completely forgot that I had it. I just reached into my pockets. I'm like, oh hey, how long has this been here? It
Just
smells
like my
funny.
fucking Wile E. Coyote paint.
All right, so having satisfied your curiosity regarding Buntalos, you take your leave of your hosts. They give you a fond farewell. And after you load up back onto your ship and travel some distance away, Harvey turns to the rest of you, says, all right, we've got some useful information out of Buntalos. So I figure it may have changed the equation, depending on how we use this. We've got a name and a description of one of the higher-ups of this society, Fallen Arrows. And, she sounds wealthy enough that she's probably got something to protect her from scrying. All of the upper nobility of the Grey Elves have something like that. But then they do also have a blind spot when it comes to divine magic. They don't respect the idea of asking a higher power for magic assistance, so they don't study it. I personally don't like the idea of bending my knee to anybody either, but I've at least done my research. And so I figure something like commune or divination might be able to help us figure out exactly where the leadership is.
Oh, hey, guess who has divination?
The other thing is that we also know where that the Fallen Arrows probably have a lot of those booths in their headquarters. And another divine spell, Locate Object, could probably help us pinpoint exactly where they are in a city or in an academy, institution of that sort. So whether we ultimately want to infiltrate or attack from the outside, we've got a place to start.
Right.
So like I could do the thing where I turn into a tree. I have access to divination like once per day, something like that. Do that, so we could find her like now if we wanted to do that.
So what kind of tree does Lake turn into? This is important.
Kinta tree, just a small Kinta tree.
Ah, stick out like a sore thumb is what you're saying.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying we do it like here, right outside of town. I'm saying like we go someplace remote and then.
Couldn't be like an oak or a fucking
Pine tree.
Fuck that. Or pine.
Wouldn't be a local species anyway, though.
No.
Nope.
But like I said, we don't have to do it like super close by.
Oh, obviously.
mountain right here. You can just go on the other side. And guess what? Hey, fuck off. There's just an extra tree now, and then it'll be gone in about 2 minutes.
Well, if we're going on the attack, we should still probably get the centaurs on board, see what help they can offer.
Yes.
They've been doing this for a lot longer than we have.
So, sorry, but are we really gonna just change our plan now, though? Like,
The equation has changed, so I, the DM, I'm giving you a chance to choose
Right.
between the two things that you guys were indecisive about.
that's fair.
And please be aware, the session will keep going either way. I have prepared.
My God.
Damn.
All right. Well,
Preparation.
I don't know. I mean, I
Okay.
guess I'm still not sure. I guess I'm not sure if any of the new information we've acquired really changes the equation in terms of which path is preferable. But maybe someone.
Nah, I
wants to make
still
it-
kind of want to attack these guys.
I still want to go with infiltration. I feel like the information we've learned helps us be a lot more focused in our infiltration as well.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I'm curious, Kalon, is there any particular, like, do you have any particular argument for why
I
the
mean,
attack route would be
it's-
better?
in character, Lake just wants to really kill a bunch of slaver assholes. That's the entire reason behind it. Like, Colin, as a player, would like to do the infiltration. Lake, as a character, would like to just kill as many slave owners as possible.
All right. Well, I mean, Aurelia would prefer the infiltration route, so I think we're all pretty much
Yeah,
on.
Lily doesn't
Or
care for
that.
slavery, but also she doesn't have a death wish.
I mean, Aurelia
That's
doesn't
right,
care for
everyone.
slavery either, but she's also like doesn't think that she's going to single-handedly solve the problem of slavery on
No.
another continent.
Oh,
so-
no. Lake doesn't think that either, but, like, just taking a couple
No,
out.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I see what you mean. Lake is more the type who would appreciate the sort of simple
Gung ho.
Yeah.
joy of fighting someone that they disagree with. Whereas Aurelia, that's not as huge a motivating factor for her.
Right. And that's why I am voting for going with the centaurs, because that's what Lake would vote, but I personally am fine either way. I don't care. So it sounds like we're good with going with infiltration.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And hey, if it always goes horribly wrong, we can flee and go get the centaur's help.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a plan B.
it's the nuclear option.
More of a gorilla option, honestly.
I think it's a horse option.
They're not horses, they're horse people.
Yeah, they're half horse. They're not
People.
half gorilla. That doesn't make any sense.
Have you
So-
never heard of the gorilla centaur? The centaur with the body of a horse and the top half of a gorilla.
Oh my god, that actually would be kind of cool.
That would rule, actually.
Be terrifying.
Gorilla Taurs evolved from centaurs.
Centaurs evolved from gorilla taurs, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's actually an oversimplification. Really, it's a matter of divergent evolution.
I
Anyway.
mean,
They both evolved from earlier forms of ape
you're
taurs.
thinking of ape tours, yes.
Right. So, with that choice firmly made, time to get the music going.
Suck shit, Daisy. I love my cat.
And so,
Oh, well, at least these guys have good taste in music.
Harvey says, well, if we're going to infiltrate the Elven kingdoms, then it's doesn't really matter which one we go to first. All of them have their own private academies where the children of the elite go to learn magic. And I didn't visit it directly, but I'm pretty sure the one for Bill Nudral is called Manakaitor Nudral, which all of you can understand Elven at this point. And so all of you are aware that Manakaitor Nudral means greatest of all magic users in Nudral.
Okay, well, so it's, I mean,
Really up their own asses, aren't they?
Yeah. Once one of this is the story I heard, but once one of them named their academy that, all of the rest changed their names to that too. So they also just had to specify which kingdom they belonged to.
Sounds dumb and fake.
No, it sounds believable to me.
It sounds like they all belong to the same organization, and yet they don't.
Sounds like wizards, and wizard elves at that. That's all I'm hearing.
Lorem, standing slightly back of you, frowns sadly.
all right, guys, let's not be mean to.
Stop being mean to Lorem.
Lorem is an exception because they got nothing.
Lorem's head tilts down.
It's okay, Lorem. It's okay.
No, you're not a cutthroat asshole, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's good you like something about me, I suppose.
You're very good at being a battery for the ship.
Jeez.
It's nice at least to know that I am still technically the most powerful person on this ship. In a sense.
Try saying that in your sleep.
There's no need to be rude to Lorem, all right?
Oh, okay. Lily just walks up to Lorem and pats him on the back. I can't pat him on the head, he's too tall.
Yeah.
Alright. So, now, one thing you should know is that the place we need to avoid is Ulmard, down on the southern coast. You see the dot I placed on the map there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the capital city of Ulmard, and it's also where the Elven Imperial Fleet has its embassy.
Oh!
Cool.
Yeah.
So why do we need to avoid it?
Because it's bad. It's very bad. Don't go there.
Well, unlike our recent hosts, the Elven Imperial Fleet is going to wonder where we got our ship and why it's not registered with them already.
Oh, I see. That's fair, I suppose.
Yeah, our sweet ride is kind of illegal.
Well, it's
kind
not
of?
To them.
It's not necessarily illegal, it's just got a lot of stories attached that don't match with the stories we're trying to tell.
Right.
Regardless, I don't feel like dealing with that shit.
So, yeah, I suppose we might have to go back just to ask for directions. Not only do I not know where the Manakaitor Nudral is, it tends to move around.
Oh.
Yeah, some of the a lot of the cities in the Elven domain are on the ground and sit there like they're supposed to. But a lot of the other ones float. All of the academies float.
Cool.
That is New Drawl.
I'm looking at the map. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah,
It says
the
new
map
draw.
says new draw.
Yeah.
Um,
You're the only one who thinks it says Noldar.
Yeah, it definitely does not say
I'm
Noldar.
looking at the map.
Well, there's the domain of Noldar, but that's
Oh,
one of the Centaur areas.
Yes.
Okay, that's a centaur area. All right.
Yes, the green and blue domains are the Centaur planes.
Should have written a map key on there because I forgot that. Your use of color befuddles me.
Yeah, well, this was a physical map that got scanned, so
Oh,
that's why
regardless. It's a minor thing.
right. So
This is
you're,
gonna be awkward.
so you've haven't gotten too far away from Bundalo, and so Harvey just casts Fly on himself to head back, ask for directions quick, and then come back up onto the ship. That doesn't take too long, and fairly soon you're off. Heading south at this point, down across the frozen part of the continent, a place where glaciers build up over the years, and there isn't that much habitable land. But eventually, as you continue south, the hold of the ice and snow starts to weaken. Or that's as much as you can tell, because there are trees and bits of grasslands that just sort of poke up out of the snow beneath you. It's still winter in the northern hemisphere. And so even as you cross into Bilnudral, the ground is still quite frozen solid. But it's not the ground that interests you at this particular moment. It's what happens to be above it. As you continue to travel south and start encountering important landmarks like wide rivers, heavy mountains, you start to see more signs of life and civilization. Small villages that appear to be inhabited mostly by slaves, with the odd plantation owner, essentially. And a few more organized locations that are built up incredibly vertically. You can tell that the Grey Elves are taking full advantage of the impossibilities that magic allows them to create. But what is the occasional vertical keep or wizard's tower that defies physics and the law of gravity eventually becomes clusters of them as you continue south. And you start seeing ships, much like yours, that are flying up into the sky above them, keeping trade alive with these otherwise remote communities. But unlike yours, most of the actual elven vessels appear to be grown, appear to be not just patterned off of a living creatures like yours is, but actually designed and grown out of the shape of one. In particular, there seems to be an affinity for butterflies. Wide, ephemeral wings, brightly colored and patterned, stick out to either side and catch the wind to improve the vessel's ability to maneuver through the skies. You've all been on this vessel long enough to know that fine maneuvering is much easier to do when the sails are out, even though the wind is not at all what propels you. And at last you come across what Harvey assures you is your destination.
Cool.
Look at that.
A full town, suspended on a rock, suspended on nothing at all. It floats through the sky as if it was created there. And while the occasional smaller rock surrounds the one large one, they all seem to float together with one purpose and one direction. From what I understand, these flying cities, particularly the academy cities like this one, they go on a whole circuit of the territory. And depending on the territory's size, the circuits can take between about 1 year to 5. But,
This just screams hubris to me.
yeah. Apparently they were lucky when they came to this place, though. There's some sort of mineral or magical reagent of some sort that makes it easy for Earth to fly.
Oh god, guys, wait a second. So we were just in a place that was based on Bioshock, and now we're in a floating city filled with people who love slavery.
And imperialism.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you fucking both sides us, Bobbin, so help me, I will cut you.
Yeah.
Well, you see, the people who rise against their owners are just as bad as the owners themselves.
Actually, they are portrayed as worse in the game.
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me.
Not necessarily worse.
It's a matter of interpretation, but in the later parts of the game, they are portrayed, in my opinion, less sympathetically than the former slave owners. So, but that's not really that important.
In any event, there do seem to be a few ships traveling back and forth. A lot of small ones that you would judge to be practice vessels. You're not quite sure if they are full spelljammers. They certainly don't have the speed of one. And then, of course, there are also a bunch of individuals flying around under their own power.
So remind me. So I'm trying to remember exactly what our plan is going in disguised. Do we have a way of sounding like we're gray elves?
We don't. Well, we have a way of making you sound like green elves.
Oh,
And
right.
I can sound like a gray elf, so the idea here is that I'm a traveler. I went south, found you guys. You guys are all interested in arcane magic instead of druidism.
Right.
And
That
so
was our
You're our
plan.
patron,
Okay.
basically.
I brought you up here to learn about real magic. And keep in mind, that's how they're going to call it.
Oh, God.
Right. Okay, sorry, I forgot that was what we were going
would
with.
enjoy this.
So it is the same cover story, basically, as we used Inventalist.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, does that mean we have to pretend not to, in terms of our own magical abilities? I guess just because we are at sort of varying levels of magical ability.
I'm an
and in particular,
adolescent, so it's fine
Grenache
that I only know
uses
up
the
to third
wrong type
level.
of magic.
Yeah, Grenache should not be throwing his particular brand of magic around now, but
Right, so we'll...
I believe at least some of what Lake does is arcane enough to
Yeah.
pass for that. And you being a bard is at least believable. Bardic is a kind of arcane spellcasting. And
Do they have bards here?
not as such, but you're not from here, so they wouldn't mind too much.
All right.
And they do understand, they do know about the gnomes and respect their ways. They just are not quite up to elven standards.
Right.
So prepare for condescension, but at least some respect.
It's me. I'm the arcane caster.
Yeah, you would probably be considered the most promising, so long as
Wait,
you
really?
keep your
Yeah.
Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually got a book.
Yeah, she's actually got a book.
Oh, fair enough, I suppose. I just figured because Lily's not a full spellcaster.
Well,
they should
Lily
be as
takes her
impressed.
book off her belt and waves it around. Suck it.
she would be seen as younger than the rest of you, so it would be considered appropriate. She's still learning.
I see. Okay, that's fair enough, I suppose.
And maybe Grenache could possibly pass for a bodyguard. After all, they're all wizards. They all understand the need for having someone with muscle around.
Yeah, so Grenache won't have to pretend then. Basically, just keep doing what he's
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
Grenache
doing,
won't be
being
able
my
to use...
bodyguard.
Grenache will only be able to punch, really.
Well, they use all types of weapons around here. That's shouldn't be too weird.
Well, I meant Grenache probably shouldn't cast.
No. Casting, no. And anything that looks like divine magic from Lake, just avoid that, too.
Yeah.
That being said, they don't talk about it much, but I get the feeling that making pacts with higher beings is considered transactional enough that a lot of the Grey Elves will do it.
Even gods?
And it's the difference between trading and worship.
Yeah, and
No, I mean, Aurelia certainly respects that difference because that's the only reason she was willing to make a pact. She 100% agrees with them on that one.
warlocks usually usually don't make pacts with gods, but with beings that are less than gods. From what I understand, you two are a little bit off in that regard.
I took what I could get.
Lake isn't. Mother Tree is not a god.
I'm pretty sure the Mother Tree is literally a god.
She
I
can,
disagree.
apparently she can sponsor druids, and that's more than what a lot of Fae can do.
Hmm.
She's a being of worship.
She's evil.
I'd say she's amoral.
A lot of gods are evil.
That's true. But, they're classier about it.
Really not sure how you're defining that.
Yeah, really just making shit up. All right, fair enough. They wouldn't recognize Aurelia's weapon as divine just by looking at it, would they?
Well, that thing? No, but it couldn't help to cover it with the illusion either.
Sure.
The lake staff, that absolutely needs to look more arcane than it does.
Well, yeah.
What would Harvey recommend disguising rod as? I mean, it does just kind of look like a mace, to be fair.
Yeah, but
Could
it
even
can
just keep it in sword mode or something.
it could look more elven, though.
Fair.
I just like my stupid sword. It's great.
That should be fine, actually.
Yeah, it's not a divine item, so.
Uh,
Well,
It
it's
was
named after God, but still.
it was created to honor a god, but it does not possess divine powers the way the rod is.
To be fair, the rod is a divine artifact, yes.
Yeah. But the rod wasn't always a divine artifact. It was created by mortals and then empowered by a god.
Oh. I got a glow stick. I'm ready for the rave.
So, any more thoughts or preparations?
I mean, I'm good.
Wait,
I'm
do we have to come up with cover names as well? I just realized that.
I trust Harvey to give me a decent one because I can't say it.
What kind of names do green elves have anyway?
bad ones.
A variety.
Fucking hippies.
Fancy name generator. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Pick something you like.
I believe in Harvey.
There we go. This is my cover name.
Okay, but I can one up you with one of the ones that it gave me. I'm not gonna use
no.
this one. I trust
No,
Harvey.
I was going with one of the better sounding ones. I could get you some stupid shit.
Okay, but look at Elmer Byrick.
Hi, my name's Elmer. I'm an elf.
The hick elf, yes.
Well, that is what they would think of you.
Exactly. No, I'm fine with that one.
Vyasa Janlana.
Sure.
And let's see.
Also, I want to roll deception to see something real quick. It is right there. Okay, I come up with some pretty okay fake titles for myself.
Oh god.
Okay.
No, like that's a thing in Grey Elf society. That is literally where Lake got it, considering they were being taught by a Grey Elf.
Okay,
to begin with.
I'm going with Amara Aristina.
All right.
I'm going with
And I got
Nazir
Gorman.
Iradan.
Adwarin for Grenache.
Okay.
Look, I just appreciate that I will never need to say my name.
I need to write these down, like literally write these down. I will never remember these. So, Lake is
And Lorm's name is fine because he is actually a green elf.
Mm-hmm.
And for that matter, you do not need to do anything to conceal him. Like you don't.
Yeah,
you don't need to use seeming on him.
Yeah,
And,
He's the arcane caster.
Yeah.
And Harvey mentions that having one of them who is not covered in illusions will help your cover. Because it's usually sort of mixed like that. Some people have it, some people don't.
Ah, yes, the best way to lie is with a bit of truth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but he does also encourage you to look stunningly beautiful
Very easy for me.
as an elf.
I mean, I assume Aurelia probably looks very similar,
Oh
just
man, I
with
need
like
to find a
pointier ears and different colored hair.
God, I need to go find a stick to shove up my ass if I want to look like a proper elf.
I know, right?
Yeah, even the green elves aren't that laid back now.
I've written them all down. We are good to go.
Yes, with names and backgrounds and disguises chosen, you guys are ready to actually enter the Manakaitor of Nudral.
Oh, a wizard.
I'm a wizard. Check out my wizard shit. Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast. Oh, wait. What do you mean that's not... Oh, no!
Check out this sweet book I got from a wizard.
Mm-hmm. And the illusion, I assume, also disguises the bark skin you have constantly up.
Yes.
God, you gotta moisturize, dude.
Wait, what does that look like?
I'm mostly covered in bark.
Oh, like is
Is it skin-colored bark, or is it bark-colored bark?
Bark-colored bark.
Yeah, somehow I hate it more.
It is, go figure, the same texture and color as a Kinta tree bark.
Please moisturize.
Never. This is what gives me my 19 AC.
So, your vessel is directed to one of the docking areas that are slightly carved out of the edge of the floating rock. You've encountered areas sort of like this before. The dry docks back in North Kalagia. But in this case, the docks are entirely decorated with carvings extending across the entire length and base of the dry dock area. You get the sense that people have spent a considerable amount of time creating the perfect appearance and ambiance for a dry dock, and it's not just simply carved out for the sake of function.
You know, say what you will about the slavery, but at least these people have taste.
Lily just looks at you with obvious revulsion on her face.
Same.
What? So you'd prefer if they had slaves and were aesthetically, unpleasant?
No, I would prefer if they didn't have slaves at all.
Yeah, me too. I'm just saying, you can't make everything about how they have slaves, okay?
I mean, I actually
Muted.
kind of can.
At the very least, they probably didn't have the slaves carve those dry dock area here. They just have them run it. And yes, in fact, as you approach the docks, the people who come to tie up the moorings are a mix of races, none of whom are elven. And this is this is also why Harvey advised against having the deckhands of your ship changed by the seaming as well, because it would be fully in character for the actual work of the ship to be done by slaves of other races rather than gray elves.
Right.
And one of the gray elves with sort of a darker shade of blonde hair than the usual you've been seeing around comes up to you. She seems to be dressed in something a little bit more official than aesthetic. It has a fairly large symbol, which you would assume goes with the school, because it's got the school's initials in it in Elven. And she comes up with her arms sort of holding one another in front of her and says, "To whom do we have the honor of a visit?" "Oh, you may call me Haveriel. I've a bit of a traveler, you see, and I've recently been to the southern continent, where I found a group of green elves who are exceedingly interested in the art of true magic, as opposed to the leavings off of that mother tree. And when I thought about presenting them with the true height of real magic, the first place I thought of was my old alma mater. Some 200 years ago, of course. But we would be much interested in, at the very least, having a tour of the place. I was thinking they could also sit in on a few of the classes here." "Oh, excellent. Glad to hear that some of the green elves have finally thought better of that tree worship of theirs. I suppose we could arrange for a academic audit on their part. Unfortunately, now, of course, you seem not certain of your means, but we do have a fee, non-negotiable, I'm afraid. It's going to be 100 per person that you wish to enroll." And Harvey turns to the rest of you and just sort of draws a P just behind his back. P for platinum.
Yeah. Oh, 100 platinum.
Oh, jeez.
Holy shit.
Wow. Well,
That's an expensive ass bribe, but I mean, I can afford it.
100 platinum each?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I don't think I can afford that.
Really? Have you been spending all your money?
I spent a lot on a specific thing.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I burned
just
away
spent,
15,000.
I just spent 600 platinum on making some of that silver.
Oh wait, 100. No, I can afford that. Never mind. I
Okay.
forgot it was tens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can afford that.
All right. Well, that's an annoyingly large amount of money, but maybe we'll get a chance to steal something of value. So
Ha.
So
Finally, people who
active from Ashes as well.
Lily is just incredibly
Yes,
excited.
I'll let you know that now that these people have essentially stolen from us, Aurelia is going to be willing to give Lily the green light to steal shit back.
Oh yeah.
She was gonna steal it either. She hates these pompous fucks.
Well, as you pull out your coins, the woman actually just sort of waves away and says, "Oh, of course not here. This is a civilized academy. We have places for that. But if you're so eager to enroll here, then by all means, that shall be the first stop of our tour." You guys can address her directly, by the way.
Oh,
I mean, speak for yourself.
Can.
yes, indeed. Although personally, I would be, fuck, I don't know what I want to say exactly. I mean, maybe we can put that part off and just, personally, I would be interested to see more of the academy beforehand.
Yeah.
Oh, well. If you wish to make it the final stop on the tour, that can also be arranged. My job is to interface with visitors to our fine institution, so I am available for whatever you may need. Seeing as you are willing and able to join in for a short time, of course. If I may ask, what sort of ranks do you hold among the green elves to the south? Not quite sure how they structure their society.
Is that titles?
How do they structure their society, actually?
It's titles.
You would know, actually, that
Yeah.
Green Elf society is, by and large, a theocracy. Those who are close to the mother tree and who get the most power from her are also the most respected and followed.
Okay, well, I know how to respond then. Well, sadly, in the society from which we hail, status is based mainly on one's devotion to the foul. Well, maybe that's overplaying handed, but it is based on devotion to the and Aurelia gives a little shudder. The mother tree. Those of us who reject the idea that we should be thralls to some so-called higher being, so-called deity, are not accorded the same degree of respect as those who practice what they call divine magic. So unfortunately, none of us have any great status in the eyes of our own society.
My, how tragic. No wonder you wish to enter a more enlightened society. Very well, though, but if you have no official rank, what sort of unofficial ranking amongst yourselves would you say you have?
I use that 23 I rolled to list off those couple of fake titles that I came up with and definitely would have thought of, but I can't think of anything with this shit. So it's only like one or two as opposed to like the 18 that I have for like.
I assume this is something we probably would have discussed a little bit ahead of time. I feel like it makes sense to say that Lorem is the highest, is sort of the de facto leader, because he is the most accomplished mage.
Yes.
In our group, and also he's the one who doesn't have to
disguise himself,
which may or may not come in handy if they subject him to additional scrutiny. So we could say yes, among our party, Lorem here is the most senior of us, and the most accomplished in the magical arts.
Oh, yes. I am actually a professor back where I come from. I work for a academy outside of the Green Elf Forest. It's it's quite a nice place. I'm sure it's not as nice as yours, but it's allowed me to gather these students of mine who come from a variety of backgrounds.
Yes, we are all students of varying levels of the professor here. Some of us are more accomplished than others, as you will no doubt see, and although, well, the way that we use arcane magic, it differs slightly.
Billy just weighs around her book.
Yes, well, like personally myself, I am trained as a bard, and so my my arcane magic
bard
channeled through music.
Well, I suppose when you don't have quite enough access to arcane traditions as we do here, you must make do with what you can find.
Indeed.
Hick elves make do.
And your titles seem impressive enough, but if I may say, they do also seem self-applied. So what is it that you do exactly?
Are they talking to me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just learning some of the basics thanks to Master Lorem here, but I can do some basic rote magic. I'm hoping to learn more when here and expand my knowledge. Which is basically my fancy way of saying that, like, Lake's basically not going to be going away from cantrips that he knows for a fact are arcane.
Like I said, most of your magic is arcane.
Yeah, but but also like I'm going with the cover story, like, hey, I'm fucking new at this, and then casting a level 5. Actually, Fairy Fire doesn't have a level 5 equivalent, so maybe I could play it up a bit more with Fairy Fire and stuff. I also do know.
Also invisibility.
Invisibility, yeah. I do have a few spells that I've managed to learn. Fairy Fire, Invisibility, Fly, but it's still nothing. I'm sure that nothing compared to what I can learn here.
Doubtless. Well, all right. I suppose as green elves, you must be courted the respect of strangers in any event. Very well. Follow me. Master Lorem, if you would. I shall explain it to you, and perhaps then you may explain it to your students. So she and Lorem step forward of the group next to each other, while the rest of you trail behind. Well, you waved a book.
You waved a book. You're fine.
And
I think one of us mentioned that Grenache is more of a bodyguard.
yeah.
I did remember
I
that I
mean-
have Whisper.
I mean, I'm sure that the illusion would make Grenache look fairly buff, just to,
I mean, based on my understanding of seeming, basically you want to change as little as possible. So Grenache is already pretty buff. So
Yeah.
well, if you change too much, if you make someone
Hell.
way more buff or less buff or less fat or whatever than they actually are, then someone could bump into you and realize that
true.
Yeah. you don't
Okay,
fit.
but I do
so.
like the idea of a buff ass elf.
Just
Yeah,
the
well,
Arnold Schwarzenegger of elves.
They sometimes happen, and actually, Grenache is a dex-based fighter, so he.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So yeah, he's probably not
He's
super
muscle.
bulky.
Yeah, so he actually looks kind of scrawny by half-orc standards, but as an elf, he's right on brand for what a buff elf would look like.
But yeah, I'm glad I just remembered that I have the Whisper cantrip.
And as you're being led into the
Message, I should say. Message cantrip, but yeah.
Yeah, as you're being led into the campus, Harvey leans towards one of you and just sort of whispers, "The reason she didn't ask me where I stand because I've got a my illusion includes shoulder decorations that imply that I'm a count."
Oh, interesting.
They really take that shit on faith, don't they?
Well, I mean, they probably kill you if they find out you're lying.
I mean, yes, but also.
Not always death. It depends on who you insult,
Hmm.
but sometimes death.
Yeah.
And so you are led into the facility. You find that there are a number of buildings around, residential buildings where the students eat and sleep, academy buildings where the students learn the various schools of magic. And just one interesting note, actually, is that they have the divination school, but they don't call it that.
Yeah, weird that.
Because it has divine in the name.
It's the pettiest shit.
The Arcanation School.
No, instead they call it the panoptication.
God.
Okay. The Optician School.
The optologist school. Never mind. Joke aborted. Continue.
And actually, that sort of knowledge from nowhere just sort of twinges in Aurelia's mind when she hears that name. Because it's apparently kind of interesting. Because one of the alternate titles for Onos is the Panopticon.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Fucking played. They got played.
The all-seeing, so called because the sky is above everything.
That does make sense.
If only they knew.
No, it's
Finish.
funnier this way.
Eventually you are led past a particular building. She gestures to and says, "So long as you're staying here, this will be the residence that you will call home. It's common rooms, unfortunately. But the basic tuition will cover the costs of staying in there. If you do wish to stay for an entire school year, then you would be entitled to one of our individual rooms. Each of you, of course. But for the time being, the common rooms are able to be turned out at short notice. Someone is already there, making sure the place is livable. And as you proceed through the area, you also see quite a large variety of people walking past. Most of them are gray elves. You can tell because elven features, light hair, fine outfits. Everyone here seems to be moderately wealthy or better. And the best of them, you can tell who they are, not only because their outfits are the most expensive and the most ostentatious, but also because they have fairly large groups of people following them. Mixed groups. Not only other gray elves, including some bodyguards, actually, but also hangers-on, friends of fortune, perhaps. And then a small group of non-elves, probably slaves, who are there just to wait and to listen and to go where directed as soon as the person leading the group points and says something. Other people you see going past are professors, who you can also tell apart from the crowds because, much like the person directing you, they have outfits that show off the school's colors and the school's initials on them. And then, of course, you see several varieties of beast and monster that seem to be following a lot of the students and faculty around. Some of them are muzzled, the more dangerous looking ones. Others seem to be given free rein, so to speak.
Why would you muzzle a flump?
How would you muzzle a flump?
That's the important question.
So, what kind of beasts?
Well, I will say this much. Your griffin has not only been with you this whole time without raising a single eyebrow, but your griffin is not alone in this campus.
Huh. Well, I actually had assumed that neither my griffin nor my pseudo dragon were with me. Is Errol around, by the way?
He can be.
Sure. Well, I mean, if they're cool with it.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd be fine with familiars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Oh, yes. A lot of the animals running around here are very clearly familiars of the various spellcasters.
Mm-hmm. But not all of them.
Well, not all of... not actively all of them.
I'm not cool enough to have a familiar.
Well, I don't think you could have, a griffin as a familiar.
No.
No, but it appears that they do train non-familiars regularly here.
Cool.
Because, yes, like I said, no longer the only griffin, and you also see pegasi, a chimera or two, actually, and really a whole variety of animals animals, beasts, monstrosities that, from what you can figure, come not just from this continent, but from all over. And perhaps a few of them were invented here.
Interesting.
And the sky is above you. As I said before, you do see the occasional flying student. And now that you're closer, you notice that they seem to be flying in certain areas. And there are occasional still figures floating up in the sky who are probably supervising them, making sure they don't kill themselves. And
This place seems neat.
And in other areas, there are small ships flying about. Perhaps the material that allows flying ships off in the west and allows the rocks to float are also being harnessed by these vessels. So, now that the tour is concluded, it's time to visit the cashier. If you please, enter the offices. You're led into a fairly large building, larger than the ones around it, and also a bit more stately and formal, you would say. It's kind of hard to imagine what makes buildings more formal than others, but these being the constructions of elves, you know that they've definitely put a lot of time and effort into doing exactly that. So you are led inside. She speaks with the secretary at the desk. He takes you to the cashier's office, where you, as the charges of Havariel, he signs on your behalf. In what appears to be a perfect form of Elven cursive.
Good, because I can't write Elven.
Yeah.
I can only listen. It's me. I'm operating on hard mode. Fuck you guys.
I could teach you. It's fine.
I don't want to learn it. I got better things to do, like anything else.
Plus, it would take most of a year, which you don't really have right now.
Yeah.
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 So, and if you have not removed 100 platinum pieces yet, do so now. Because the payment goes directly to the cashier, who has it all weighed out on a pair of floating scales.
God, they do nothing in half measures, do they?
No. It's all extremely pretentious.
Yep. And Havariel himself just declines and says, "Oh, I'm not here for the lessons, of course. I'm just going to make sure that the my charges here are cared for, have any questions answered, and Perhaps I'll be on my way once they've settled in. And so you are escorted back to the common room dormitory. You are provided a fairly large room. It's basically a hostel setup where there are just sort of movable curtains for privacy when needed. But otherwise, it's a fairly large public rooms for sleeping, toiletries, eating, sitting around between classes.
Huh.
And you
Sure.
do notice that there are a couple of actual Grey Elven students who seem to be in the same room that is assigned to you.
Wait, what?
And then Havariel is led away to the guest quarters where he will be staying.
Hmm.
Also, no actual beds.
Because elves don't sleep.
The sleeping area is instead furnished with fluffy pillows, thin blankets. You do have the curtains, though.
Do they expect me to sleep on the floor?
Just make sure you don't snore.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Did not realize we wouldn't get privacy here.
Ah. It works out for me because I don't sleep either.
Yeah, it's fine for you. You can keep watch, I guess, while the rest of us are sleeping.
Lorm is also quartered with you guys, by the way.
All right, so he can also help with that.
Yes, he may have the status of a professor, but here he is a fellow student.
Oh.
Fortunately, you came in sort of in the middle of the day, so you know that you are sharing quarters with two other Grey Elves because those areas have foot lockers, chests that are set up near two of the resting areas. They don't seem to be present at the moment. Harvey had to leave, but the rest of you now have some privacy in which to discuss.
Well, the sleeping thing is going to be tricky.
I mean,
For you.
I don't remember.
speak for
Do half
yourself,
elves
I
have to
still-
sleep less than most people?
No. Half-elves get their sleep from their human side.
Right. Except for the part where they can't be put to sleep magically.
Just gonna fucking cast message at Aurelia and say this sucks.
Talk,
You can talk.
Lily.
There's no
There's
one else around.
nobody here.
No, there are
if-
elves here.
If there are times where Lily really needs to understand stuff on her,
Well, like, I can understand everything people are saying. I just can't talk or write it.
can you?
Yes.
Yeah, magic earpiece.
Oh. Okay. Well.
It was given
Mm.
to her because Bobbin did not want to deal with
Have to deal
Lily
with that
having being left out. Of
Fair
every
enough.
conversation.
I just need to replace tongues because it's never going to be useful until we go to space. All right.
Space or sigil, one of the two.
Isn't sigil in space?
No.
It's basically in space.
Okay. Well, I don't want
It's
to.
essentially in space.
It's in the outer planes.
The planescape's a weird thing.
Okay, it's all space.
Yes, it's all space.
So, all right.
Yeah, I thought there were other elves in here, which is why I wanted to cast that.
Yeah, so this might be tricky.
Like I said, they are occupying these quarters, but they are not currently here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, this place blows.
Yeah, but at least you don't need to sleep.
I mean, it's mostly fine other than the slaves and also now the fact that we can't sleep openly.
And there are pillows and blankets, but we gotta sleep on the floor.
Really? I need to channel her Eladrin half.
I don't
Learn
have
to
that
go without
luxury.
sleep.
I need sleep. I'm a growing goblin.
I'm pretty sure you're not growing, but okay.
You shut your face.
Yeah, you stopped growing a long time ago.
Regardless, I need my fucking sleep.
Yeah.
Well, with the curtains drawn, they should hopefully not know the difference. At least unless you all make a lot of noise as you sleep. I imagine they give the students here a good 8 hours of rest. We only need to transfer 4 of them, but the rest of the time is still required to replenish our spellcasting ability, of course.
Yes.
I think the bigger problem with this situation is not the sleep, but rather being able to find a way to recast seeming every 8 hours in private.
That shouldn't be too difficult, so long as you select the right times to cast it.
Yes.
Also, we got the curtains, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, right now, for instance, just to re-up the spell.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, might as well.
Mhm.
I've got basically unlimited spell slots per day, so I might as well.
I'm the baby, gotta love me.
For some reason, your book is turned into a frying pan.
Alright, so... what exactly is the plan of attack here?
Did we have one?
We came here because the Fallen Arrows Society.
I mean, I think the issue here
is
is we need to do well in the classes and stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, the Fallen Arrows Society, from what from what Harvey has said, is based out of the academic institutions, which is why he brought us here, of all places. So presumably they would have a branch here if they are, in fact, attempting to grow.
Yes. So we just need to either stand out enough, one of them will make contact with one of us, or we need to actively root around for them.
Yes, and locate object, I believe, was the spell. But if they are here, they probably have a booth. And if they have a booth, we know what to look for. And Grenache here probably already has memorized the 2nd level spell, Locate Object.
We'll say that he has. I don't feel... Oh, wait, yeah, let's replace Gentle Repose with
I mean, Tiamos could be like me and just never update the spell list in the fucking Roll20.
Probably. That is probably the case, but I've replaced Gentle Repose with Locate Object.
My spells in the Roll20 are so woefully out of date.
You should do something about that.
Yeah, in case somebody like me, needs to control your character again.
I was gone the one time. Yeah, I'm too lazy too because I have this fancy fucking PDF that does everything for me, including wipe my ass.
Good. I heard toilet paper's gotten hard to find.
I can't wait for the diarrhea pandemic to hit, so that way everybody runs out to the stores and buys coughing syrup.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be buying it all up because they're scared shitless. No, basically it's because of a bad rumor, and then for some reason now people just keep buying it because other people are buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want their toilet paper for other people hoard the toilet paper.
Mhm.
Beautiful. It's beautiful chain reaction.
So
By the way-
you have been furnished with a list of classes, and they cover pretty wide range of subjects. So unless you want to go straight, unless you want to hunt for the Fallen Arrows headquarters directly, you would have the opportunity to attend some of the classes here.
Yes, I do want to do that.
Sure, let's go to school.
Finally, the school life I never had.
Aurelia is going to, when she has the chance, or I mean, well, maybe she would have done it in advance, but I didn't say so explicitly, attune to the tiara of intellect rather than the shoes, because being smart will probably benefit us here.
Sure.
So yes, time to go to class and show everybody who's boss, and that being a bard is cool. Stop making fun of me.
I'll never stop making fun of you.
Aurelia does not care if Lake makes fun of her. Lake does not have the status for it to matter.
So what kind of classes are all you going to be attending? Grunash is, as a bodyguard, is going to be staying with Lorem most of the time, since that's the person whose status, at least by Grey Elf standards, is high enough to deserve a bodyguard.
Right.
Mhm. I guess Lake would try and find some classes that are slightly more for stuff that's like slightly more advanced than fly and invisibility. Because even though mine is greater invisibility, I'm trying to pass it off as only regular invisibility, just to sell that. So I guess stuff for like 3rd and 4th level magic.
Okay, well, while Lake is a weirdo and pretends to be less good at magic than they actually are, Aurelia is going to
Never
pick...
fucking reveal your full hand.
Okay, sorry. Absolutely reveal your full hand when the point of the plan is to make yourself look like a
Also,
very
I don't-
powerful magic user who will get recruited by the evil cult.
To be fair, all my stuff above 3rd level, I don't think is on the wizard spell list. Except for greater invisibility.
Yeah, but greater invisibility is. Anyway, whatever. The point is, yes, Aurelia is going to pick whichever classes are, appropriate to her understanding of magic. The fact that she's a bard might interfere with that somewhat. I don't really know enough about exactly how magic works in the setting to know, what that would mean for her, but she will pick whatever is most appropriate for her level of ability as far as she can tell, and try to excel as much as she can.
Well,
And she will try to actually learn shit. Like, she is interested.
You do spot one class that's named Charming Effects and the Susceptibility of Lesser Races.
Nice.
God, that's an incredible fucking title. Holy shit.
I mean,
Oh, I should go there just to fuck with people because I'm immune to being charmed.
Well,
we know.
most of the class is also very resistant to it.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. All of the class is also very resistant to it.
Yeah.
Yes. And so is Aurelia, legitimately.
I mean, I have my fancy headdress, but otherwise. I have a headdress, it's a fucking hairband now.
Mm-hmm. Feather hairband.
Yeah. Should have made it a scrunchie.
But yes, as for Lake, you can find a class, illusions and practical applications.
Ooh. Go there.
Anything in particular that Lily's looking at?
It's a good question. Especially because all of my fucking spells. Yeah, let's go with illusions.
Yeah. And practical applications?
And practical. Yeah, well, because all I've got are fucking illusions.
Funny that.
I think half my spells are illusions, at least.
Yeah, and
The other
Arcane
half
Trickster
are...
is all about being practical about them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. So, since magic isn't real, and I don't want to get that much in depth about how it works in my setting, we're going to skip over the lecture part and just see how well you are able to demonstrate your abilities and your knowledge in class as auditing students.
All right.
Okay.
So, Aurelia,
Mm-hmm.
we'll start with you. What manner would you like to impress the fellow students and professors?
Well, okay, so it has to be some kind of...
Like, how would you like to stunt on them?
I don't know. Do you mean like I should pick a spell to cast, or like I should be more creative and think of like
Like, do you demonstrate your skill with the spells in a practical demonstration? Do you keep raising your hand during the lecture and shouting out what you already know?
you know what? I think a practical demonstration, if there's an opportunity, would be interesting because, of course, all of these people are elves. They all have advantage against being charmed, except against Aurelia, they do not, in fact, have advantage against being charmed. So she could probably charm them more effectively than most of them could charm her. So I feel like a practical demonstration of the power of her charming ability would be, if there's an opportunity to do so, would be quite
Is that a bard thing that they don't get advantage?
No,
or is that an elf
it's
thing?
because of my harp. My harp gives me advantage,
okay,
or
okay.
well, gives other people disadvantage to resisting charm
and
effects.
their advantage cancels it out. Got it.
So yeah, it cancels out, and they don't have advantage anymore against if I were to cast a hypnotic pattern on the whole class. So
Alright.
yes, Aurelia will listen very attentively and perhaps make. Well, she would probably make comments in class as well, and because Aurelia is pretty good at making herself look good, as it were. So I imagine that would, she'd probably want to be one of those slightly annoying but still impressive students who, always seems to know what the professor's talking about already. And then she would immediately leap on any opportunity to demonstrate her abilities.
All right. Well, for the lecture portion of the class, you have an opportunity to leap up and say what you can about magic, and that would be an Arcana roll.
Oh, that's not great. Actually, that's not the best.
With your 19 intelligence, at least.
Yes, that is true. All right. Can't you just persuade people that she's very good? All right. Well, that's not bad. She probably doesn't blow them away or anything, but doesn't make herself look stupid.
You do not beat the actual eggheads in class, because of course there are some actual eggheads in class.
Right.
But when called upon, you are able to answer intelligently and with the correct information. And during the practical demonstration, I will say that when they bring in a small group of slaves to practice charm magic on, because of course they do, you accidentally include the professor in the area of effect of a hypnotic pattern.
Accidentally in giant fire quotes there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And what is your saving DC these days?
These days it is 19.
19.
Yes.
In that case, I believe it would be good enough.
Nice.
Although it might depend. What are wizards good at?
That's a good question. I can't give you a good answer to that.
Well, they're usually not good at wisdom, so.
Well, I mean, they specifically have two saving throws.
Intelligence and probably
and wisdom is the other one, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, in that case, I should use a different one. I could wait. Hold on. Do I have a charm spell? No, I guess all charm spells.
No,
target
most
wisdom.
charm spells are wisdom. Not all.
Yeah.
So does it work?
No.
Damn
But
it.
the professor does seem to notice that he almost fell into the trance.
I assume she had a good hit rate on the slaves, at least. Since
Oh
they all
no,
had
don't
disadvantage.
say it like that.
Phrasing! For the
What?
love of God!
You get 3 out of 4.
What? Wow.
The other one probably rolled really fucking high.
Yes.
On both? Jeez, okay.
Oh, that's right. Everybody else has disadvantage.
Yeah, they have disadvantage. That's why I was confident that they would all fall under it.
Okay, yeah, then. With that in mind, yeah, you get them all with one shot. And so, yes, you do distinguish yourself. And, you get sort of a mixed reaction from the professor, who is aware that you tried to get him with it, but also aware that you almost succeeded, and that takes some doing.
Gotta respect. You can't knock the hustle.
So to speak. All right, and Lake and Lily, you guys went to the same class,
Mm-hmm.
so you have an opportunity to work together to show yourselves off.
Oh, if we have an opportunity to work together, then my idea, what I was going to do, is going to change drastically. Because what I was going to do was like have all the students like stand really close to each other, and like I could say, all right, I'm gonna just turn invisible and sneak in between you guys and get on the other side, and then just like turn invisible, activate my flight mode, and then fly over them, and then just end both of those at the same time. But if we can work together, then
You would
Promise
also
flight
not
is an
have,
illusion.
yeah, and you would not really have an opportunity to direct the class.
fair enough.
See, I was gonna just turn invisible and steal all their money. It's very simple, really.
Good, but I'm trained in sleight of hand, but my dexterity is garbage.
Yeah, see, I'm wondering why I fucking put expertise into deception and not sleight of hand, but then I remembered that was a choice I made long ago. Yeah, it was actually a choice I made before, like, while making the character, so...
Yeah, that's when choices usually happen, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
if
true.
you want to talk about putting expertise in the wrong area, I just got an item that will finally let me make use of my expertise in acrobatics that I've rolled like twice in this entire campaign.
Meanwhile, I put my expertise in perception because we do that shit all the time.
Yeah, well,
But yeah, but I meant this is during character creation, because both the things of expertise, all 4 of them I get, were before 8th level.
Oh, okay.
hmm
So, practical demonstrations include a lot of advice rather than descriptions of magic spells, which is what Aurelia was largely getting. Instead, it's discussion, and you notice that actually a lot of the upper elite members of this school are not present in this classroom. It seems to be designed for wizards who have to actually, do things for a living,
God forbid.
or else protect people who are too high up to have to do anything for themselves.
Also, I could make an invisible mage hand. It's great.
And so there are, discussions on how to keep illusions out of areas and how to bypass ways of keeping people out. The usefulness of detect magic in finding fields of invisibility and identifying illusions, and the effectiveness of true sight and the best ways of getting access to that particular spell or ability. And along with creating illusions realistic enough that people who should be using these spells would not be suspicious enough to actually cast them. The practical part of the class turns out to be based on sort of an obstacle course set up behind the building that you took the class in.
Oh, jeez.
And so basically the goal is to sneak past a series of guards who are a few of the lower ranked staff members, along with a fairly large number of slaves playing at armed guards.
Are they
not given actual weapons, of course.
Are they standing in a dark room, like a dark room with, or a room with like dark zigzag shadows and like carpeting on the floor?
Same idea, not the same execution.
Okay.
But
oh, good.
yeah, so students are basically run through the obstacle course one by one. And once they get to the other end, they are provided with a evaluation. So I know that Lily is not going to speak up during the lecture portion, but what about Lake?
I mean, I'm good enough in Arcana that I could probably try to do so. And if I'm not good, then I am lucky. So.
Wow, that is a powerful statement for a number of reasons.
Watch, I'm gonna roll 1 for it. But so is it
Scribes.
Arcana?
Yeah. I mean, if you just want to show your knowledge.
Yes. 20's not bad. I'll not waste my lucky and just go with the 20.
All right, yeah. You show that you have a substantial knowledge of the spells being discussed here. And as a matter of fact, you have an opportunity or two to basically provide specific examples of when you encountered them during your adventures.
The vampire.
Although
you do make certain not to provide too many details.
yeah, it's like, I know a guy who did it this way, and it worked out well for them.
Just please stop telling all Lily stories.
But yeah, something like with the vampire in mind. There was this one time when a guy was trying to sneak up on me. So I threw some powder in his face, and that gave me his outline. A lot of interested nods when you provide that story. Now, as for the practical demonstration, how do you go about doing it?
Okay, so here's a question. Would I know if people have, like, true sight or like, see invisibility or some shit going?
Well, if they had true sight, we'd have bigger problems.
I know, but... like, would there be any way for them to see me being invisible and just flying over all of the obstacles and landing on the other side?
Well, as a matter of fact, you are informed that one of the elven guards of this exercise is going to be using true sight.
Uh-oh.
Hey, you
And
know what?
As a matter of fact, she catches probably more of the students going through the obstacle course than any other single guard.
Okay. But the question is she looking up every once in a while? 'Cause I just want to fly over it.
As a matter of fact, yes.
Ah, damn it. Well, I still have...
You are not the only person in this school who can fly.
Yeah, but, like,
A
they're
number of
both
them can, actually.
they're both concentration
And the
spells is the thing.
And the obstacle course is also long enough that a single minute is not going to be long enough.
Ah, damn it.
I mean, maybe if you casted and flew, but the person watching is able to use the, up part of their peripheral vision.
Yeah. So, I think, I don't have regular invisibility anymore, I don't think. I think I only have greater. Unless I want to get rid of another spell to have it. I've never...
So just use
I've-
greater.
Greater only lasts a minute.
Oh, right. It doesn't seem that much greater, does it?
I'm not helping you out of this one.
I mean, Aurelia could help you out, but...
Oh, I have invisibility.
Yeah, I know you do.
Well, if you're not certain about whether or not you can avoid the true sight. You can intentionally fail the test early. It wouldn't be impressive, but you'd be safe.
Yeah.
I could also just like try sneaking through normally up until the point where I get to that person. My stealth score is not bad, and I get advantage on basically all my stealth stuff, and people have disadvantage to perception when they see me, when looking for me. So
That is true.
I think I'll do that. I think I will do practical stealth until the point where the person who has true sight is coming up, and then cast invisibility, then fly over her, and then practically stealth the rest of the way through.
Well, the course is set up so that this person does not have a clear view of everything around her. I mean, that would just be kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's an obstacle course, and she is one of the obstacles. And so the point is to find a way to fool her or bypass her when you know that illusion magic isn't going to be enough.
Alright, so just practical stealth then, I guess. So, let's do it. Hood is up, so that way perception checks have a disadvantage on me. Your stealth. With advantage. I'm gonna lucky that. Find stealth again. How did I lose it? I literally just... 18... Well, I mean, 18 is as good as I'm gonna get with with how lucky has been house ruled, so...
Wow, look at this loser with only an 18.
Only an 18, yeah.
I
Like,
fucking rolled
I know.
26 minimum, bitch!
I know you do! But don't forget they also have disadvantage on trying to see me.
Oh, I only needed to roll one
Oh, okay.
because I rolled a 1.
Ah!
What the fuck?
Oh man, I fucking lucked out.
I look forward to getting done dirty.
All right, yeah, you first try on the obstacle course and you get through all the way, and just lucky for you. Go figure.
Fucking piece of shit.
But one of the other students' attempts at a spell went off just when it was your turn. It distracted the person with true sight when it was time to cross that particular part of the course. It's just like one of the other students had attempted to create an audible illusion just to distract the person, but it didn't quite go off.
Oh no.
But then it did when it was your turn.
Oh, nice.
The fabled delayed illusion.
Well, that's what happens when you don't quite know the right words.
Goddamn casting into the future, my god.
So, how does Lily do?
I mean, obviously use invisibility first, just to make it easier.
Hmm.
And then some classic stealth.
Advantage, giving you advantage on stealth checks.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, it's 26, I guess.
Man, some days, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, well, this person does not have a 13 bonus, so you're good. Both of you make it past someone who has true sight active, which is quite an accomplishment, because you would have been immediately figured out if either of you had been spotted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
As it is, you've made a good name for the Green Elves, because you've shown that your ability to This was both of your first times going through the obstacle course, and the other students are pretty impressed that you managed to get all the way to the end.
Look, I'm nothing if not good at being a shifty fucker.
Their approval tastes bitter in my mouth because I know they own. I know, due to them being upper echelon, they own slaves at some point.
Oh, get over it.
No, I will not get over it. Fuck you.
Whereas Lily, on the other hand, is showboating.
Oh no, Lake will showboat, but like they're not gonna be particularly proud of the praise they are getting.
And they actually do take note of your cloak of elven kind. They not only know what it is, but they're quite impressed that you have one.
And also, I guess I guess I would have the illusion of my anklets be also the boots of elven kind, because I have those.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are my robes that well hidden?
Well, your robes were essentially changed into a dark suit of leather armor.
Okay.
Way back when.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure about that, but good. Okay, good. So they don't recognize my fucking legendary item.
Yeah, no, you got an illusion as to very specifically change the form, or at least appearance, of the robes to fool even a diviner.
Good. The joys of being friends with a master illusionist.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of diviners, Lorm, for his part, goes to a class about panoptication. And given his status back home as being a person who wrote the book about this sort of thing.
Literally.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the book, but certainly some of them. Is able to provide a proper schooling for the class, while still being timid enough to not step on the professor's toes. And
that's the Lorem we know and love.
Mm-hmm.
But Lily would never say that to his face.
And afterwards, Grunash has an opportunity to just sort of hang out with the other bodyguards and show them what he can do. And so for
Punch
his
very
part...
hard.
Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
So for his part, I would like you to roll acrobatics.
Okay. Acrobatics, right there at the top. He's got a +10? Holy shit. But he only rolled a 7, so...
Yeah. Somewhat impressive.
Solidarity roll.
But, of course, the biggest thing is the fact that he can fire bolts of energy out of his fist, which no one else here can do. Not quite like that, anyway.
He can Kamehameha, they can only garlic gun.
It's
Not really, no. That's...
No.
Anyway. So all of you do have an opportunity of showing your stuff, including the NPCs you brought with you.
I mean, there was a case of not showing our stuff, but yes.
Showing your ability to not be showing your stuff.
If we were showing
The
our
art
stuff...
of subtlety, then throwing it out the window to showboat.
How do you stealth showboat, though?
Very carefully.
the same way Lord Vetinari did. Fail your exam by not showing up.
I forgot about that. Oh, Vetinari is so good.
I'm not getting the reference.
Oh, it's a
Discworld.
Discworld reference to the character Lord Vetinari, who, when he was a student at the Assassin's Guild, failed his stealth exam, or I forget exactly what, but his stealth related exam. He got a score of 0 because he didn't show up for the exam. It was the only one that he didn't get perfect. Whatever.
Interesting.
Yeah, Vetinari's great.
Yes. You do pretty much the same thing over the next week or so. Just sort of ingratiate yourself among the student body, show off your skills, keep your ears to the ground. And after that time, someone comes to your common room. But we're going to have to pick that much up next time.
No.
Dun dun dun.